Welcome back to Freeze All Motor Functions, a Westworld podcast that doesn't sound like anything to me and doesn't take itself too seriously. Presented by Bolin Media, we are here today to break down and digest the Season 4 premiere of HBO's Westworld. I am your host, Jared Borislow, known to many as J-Bone, joined as always by the Mesa's head janitor, Mr. Ross Bolin. Ross, how are you?
J-Bone. I'm doing pretty good, man.
Yeah, it's kind of storming outside here.
It is. We got a bit of a thunderstorm going. I like recording. If you're not a podcaster, that means recording a podcast, podding in a good thunderstorm.
Real peek behind the curtain there.
Yeah, insider information, Jared. That's what I do here.
And I'm also joined by your third full-time Freeze All Motor Functions co-host as of this season, Maya's pair of black heels, Serena. What's up, Serena?
Hey, how's it going?
Going well. You're also in a storm, even though you're in a different state. Do you think this is the same cell, just across state lines?
I like to think if we all looked outside at a cloud right now, we'd all be looking at the same cloud.
Oh, that's deep.
Dan.
Wow, what a coincidence, though, that it's also raining in, California? Yeah?
Alabama.
Yeah, she's in Alabama right now. She's a real jet setter.
You are.
That's, I believe, 4 states over. You got to go across Louisiana, Mississippi to get to Alabama.
Get around. She gets around.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's jump right into it. You two.
Okay.
It's time to break down the Season 4 premiere of Westworld.
Let's do it, Jared.
The title of Westworld Season 4, Episode 1 is The Auguries.
Is that how it's pronounced? I'll be
believe
honest, I wasn't going to give it a shot till somebody else did.
Can you try right now?
Let me find it spelled somewhere.
Auguries.
Okay, I found it. Auguries.
You're going to go with the hard y.
Auguries.
Okay. I believe it's...
I kind of want a season 1 style Jared poignant pronunciation of auguries.
All right, the Auguries. Now, the Auguries, in the caption for this episode is, "Hello again, don't worry about a thing. It's all in your head." Which, if I was going to sing, because I seem to be singing quite a bit in this podcast, hello again, don't worry about a thing. A little Bob Marley action.
Jared, I have Googled the word auguries.
Okay.
And the definition is a sign of what will happen in the future, an omen.
Uh-huh. That's correct, Ross. So now what's interesting?
Did you have that written in a few lines from now?
Yeah. I mean, so if you aren't familiar with the podcast, I break down every single episode title ever, and considering it's Season 4,
It's called jumping ahead of the host, and that's what I'm again pulling back the curtain to give you the inside scoop.
So I know that when Ross heard the word auguries, his mind probably instantly thought of his favorite tool, the auger, which everyone knows he frequently used to hand-carve his world-famous life-size figurines of each winner of American Idol Seasons 1 through 20. Right, Ross?
Yes, that is correct.
But this episode title has nothing to do with the tool, the auger, which is spelled A-U-G-E-R, by the way.
And used for cleaning your car wheels. What is it used for? Does anyone know what an auger is?
Yeah, it's used for carving for a lot of things, but it's like a screwdriver-y kind of thing where it's long and it scrapes the wood, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
It's like a drill for wood, right?
Yeah. Takes one to know one, and by one I mean a tool.
That's pretty good.
Thank you, Jared.
So the Oxford Dictionary defines augury as Ross said, a sign of what will happen in the future, an omen. Another definition is the work of an augur, who is, well, you'll find out. The work of an augur, the interpretation of omens. To go further down the rabbit hole, the Oxford Dictionary defines an augur as an ancient Roman religious official who observed natural signs, especially the behavior of birds.
Wow.
Interpreting these as an indication of divine approval or disapproval of a proposed action. What do you guys think so far about that?
It's a lot. It's a lot to take in there, Jared. A lot to absorb.
Serena?
I feel like it fits with the theme of the episode because it was a whole lot of callbacks and then setup.
Yeah, I know you specifically said you had a lot of callback notes that you took. And I think surface level, a lot of people noticed a good amount of callbacks to season 1 and to, earlier seasons, especially in the terms of the characters that showed up in this episode. But whenever you want to whip out your paragraph, let me know.
I can either do it at the end or I can do it when we get to the first Christina scene.
Hey, put some respect on Christina's name.
I'm so sorry. Probably makes the most sense at the end because there's a bunch of stuff near the end for me.
That's true. Now, you may also notice some people, a keen observer may have noticed earlier, I was about to say Serena, and I said, Kura. I guarantee you, Serena, I will be calling you Christina at least like 4 times this season because the name Christina is now a main character in the show, and your name rhymes with that.
There's worse. I've been called worse things.
Okay, what? Give us some moments, because obviously many moments in this episode.
Well, the flies were the first one that stood out to me. You know how I feel about the flies.
You're the lord of them.
Yeah, you are the lord of them.
That's what everybody says.
I'll take it. And I feel like with the way that the flies showed up in this episode, they are most certainly an omen of bad things to come. So,
a omen I noticed that appeared twice is like a clankering of stuff outside of a home, right? Because you had the fire escape situation with Christina that ended with the Maeves being spray painted on her fire escape. Then you had the clankering of the raccoon outside of Caleb's house that led to the whole situation with Milk Boy.
The PTSD.
And the PTSD, true.
A lot of people, by the way, I should note up front, when they went to watch this episode, they went to their HBO Max app. They clicked on Westworld because there was a big banner, and the episode started playing. And then what every one of them came to realize eventually, after X amount of time, some people 15 minutes, some people a couple minutes, some people a minute and a half, all varying number of times is my point. What they came to find is that they were watching episode 1 of season 1.
Yep. We had multiple
lot people
tweet this at us as well.
How long? Them a while. I was like, oh, this is a cool callback. My wife was like, hey, you clicked on the wrong episode, dumbass. And I was like, nuh-uh. And then I pulled it up and was like, oh, shit.
Oh, so this actually happened to you?
Oh, yeah, it also happened to me, I should note.
How long did you watch for?
I got to the part where she walked out onto the front porch. And I was like, okay, this is going on for a little bit longer than I anticipated.
Oh, you mean the part where she swats the fly in her face and kills it? So you all the way to the end?
No, no, the first time she walks out when she's talking to her old man and he's doing whatever. Anyway, which interestingly kind of comes into play, but it was awkward.
So what Ross is doing is relating to the audience. It's another podcasting tip.
Yeah, pull it back, Jared.
Anybody else notice a
one
omen?
One of us.
An augury, an omen.
Any omens in this episode? Caleb's presence, his hair,
his bangs,
those bangs or something.
Yeah, he's got a mop. He's going with the frat swoop. It looks like
that's an omen. It's like, but it's more of like a, what's that? What's the group that sings like? And I chimed in with a haven't you? What's that? What's
Panic
that
at the Disco?
That's Panic at the Disco.
He looks like a fucking member of Panic at the Disco to me.
Okay.
But scruffier.
Yeah.
Closing the goddamn door.
Definitely scruffier. So as far as the caption for this episode goes, hello again.
Song, by the way, it's stuck in my head. Now it's stuck in my head.
That's so good.
It's the rest of this pod.
Hello again. Don't worry about a thing. It's all in your head. We see a number of different people told some version of this episode. Peter being the most obvious one. Caleb's also told this by his wife. And Christina was told this on the worst first date ever, which we'll get into later. So, let's start off by discussing the cold open. But before we do that, this episode of Freeze All Motor Functions is brought to you by the amazing folks at Felix Gray Glasses. The good folks at Felix Gray create effective, research-backed products to improve humans' relationships with technology, making them a perfect sponsor for a Westworld podcast. It all started 5 years ago when Felix Gray set out to create eyewear that would make it easier and more comfortable for humans to stare at screens. Why? Because whether you like it or not, we all live in a digital world now. Cue the Coldplay parody. We live in a digital world. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Don't panic. Kind of a Coldplay deep cut, I guess. And living in a digital world means we are forced to look at screens, and more screens all day, every day. And the thing about all these screens, Ross, you jerk, is that they are wreaking havoc on our eyeballs and brains and causing things like eye strain, headaches, and blurry vision. The blue light emitted from these screens is the culprit, and Felix Gray's clear blue light lenses filter 15 times more blue light than other clear lenses do. 9 out of 10 customers experience relief from eye strain, headaches, and or blurry vision. Serena, you were saying that Bernard actually wears Felix Gray glasses. Is this true?
It's what I heard. I got a direct call from the costume designer confirming.
Oh, wow. What an insider tip.
She works in the TV industry.
She's in the industry, Jared.
It could be true. And Felix Gray Glasses don't just do a great job protecting your eyes and brain from the evil of screens. They're also incredibly high quality and built to last. Felix Gray has both non-prescription glasses and prescription glasses available, so they truly are for anyone and everyone. Check out Felix Gray's full selection at felixgrayglasses.com/FAMF. That's FAMF. FAMF. Where you'll have access to free shipping, returns, and exchanges for a completely risk-free shopping experience. That's FELIXGRAY glasses.com/FAMF. Free shipping, free returns, free exchanges.
They're the best, Jared. I wear them every day. Felix Gray.
You do. There's a link for that deal in the description of this episode. So the cold open. The Hoover Dam has been turned into a hydroelectric data center with permanent data storage capabilities. And I would be remiss to say to both of you, did you guys notice that they dropped fungible less than 5 minutes into this episode?
They said fungible repeatedly. I noticed that. It was interesting.
The NFT craze has made its way to Westworld. They've never said fungible, to my knowledge, in any other season. But now it's the NFT age. Serena, thoughts?
Well, I feel like they're always on the forefront of like whatever techie thing is going on. So it tracks for me. Like they want to be immersed in the real world as much as possible.
Will you go on the record right now and say that Jonah Nolan is a crypto bro?
I will go on the record. I can't say that I've received any confirmation or I think I get hit with like a cease and desist. But,
okay.
but he does give me big crypto bro vibes. Like maybe the guy that she was on that terrible first date with is like loosely based on some of his crypto bro friends.
Yeah, that guy, honestly, like, you believe it or not. So last night I watched that investment guy on the first date with Christina. And I immediately took his advice, and my portfolio is now up 600%. That guy's a genius. He gave me the best investing tips I've ever seen.
Wow.
Did he also give you some good like advice for what tabs to take?
He did.
He seemed...
Yeah, I gave him all of my ailments, my anxiety, my depression, and he was like, "Oh, dude, don't worry. There's a tab for that."
He was like, "You got to stop the coffee vape, bro. There's a tab for that."
Yeah. He's like, "Dude, you want to wean off your coffee vape, your caffeine vape?" Yeah, there's a tab for that. Okay, now correct me if either of you two disagree. William wants to take control of this damn data storage facility from Hugo and his cartel, as William refers to it, because he believes it is where Dolores decided to store the Westworld Sector 16 data after stealing it from William 8 years ago, and he wants this data back under his control, even though it's encrypted, and he can't decrypt it, and he thinks nobody else can, but actually there's one person who can, and it is Bernard. Serena, am I right about that?
I agree. I did think, though, speaking of like where this data is stored, I didn't read any other recaps or anything. Are we sure that it's a different facility? Because it looked a lot like the Mesa Hub to me, but maybe I just think all of that style architecture looks the same. Like I was getting big either park vibes or like Sonora where that weird storage facility was. Like, are we sure it's a separate facility?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it's specifically the Hoover Dam because...
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Hugo asks the man in black, or asks William, he says, "Hey, have you ever seen it before?" He goes, "Oh yeah, I came here when I was a kid with my parents."
Now, are you asking if perhaps that's in a park?
That's what, so my dumb, like everything is contained in the capsule of the show went to like, oh, he's making not a joke, but kind of downplaying his time in the Westworld parks. Like, oh, like, yeah, I just went here once as a kid, even though he spent a large portion of his life in the parks. But I think your read makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, the only reason I think it's not, because what he said when he was a kid, and we saw that he didn't enter Westworld till he was like 30, as we saw in season 1 with Logan.
Right, I thought he was just like, I don't know what I thought. I'm also terrible at recognizing any landmark or skyline. Like, I know my own skyline, and other than that, they're all interchangeable to me. Like, could not pick the Sears Tower out of a lineup.
Yeah, Roman Mars is pissed at you for not recognizing a modern architectural marvel. Okay.
It's not called that anymore, by the way.
The Hoover Dam?
No, the Sears Tower.
Oh, yeah, it's called the Willis
Tower.
What you talking about, Willis?
Respect Willis.
So
see? I don't know anything about any towers.
Well, what about the tower? The tower. Oh my God. Oh, the tower.
I have a take on that, but we can wait till we get to the tower.
Okay. We'll wait till we get to the tower.
I have a lot to say about that storyline. But first, the Man in Black.
Yeah.
Tell me when I can do my spiel.
Okay. It'll be a bit. So after Hugo refuses to sell the dam to William, Hugo later has his body taken over by a horde of flies, courtesy of William, after which William commands Hugo to kill all his associates, sign the dam over to him, before commanding Hugo to kill himself, thus ending the cold open and thus making Serena completely correct about the flies this season being things that make humans go under the control of the hosts. Please clap for Serena.
Yeah, so the flies are magic?
Well, they're hosts, as we see in the opening credits.
The flies are hosts.
Yeah, they're made by, well, they're robots, the robo flies.
And they go in and they make you do stuff.
Pretty fly for a robot guy.
It's kind of like being possessed.
It's exactly like being possessed. And I think it is interesting that they chose flies because not only has it been themology in the show, but I'm obsessed with this whole like flies are attracted to organic matter thing. And I would be willing to bet that flies cannot control other hosts the same way that they could inhibit a human.
That's a pretty hardcore power they've got, though. Like the ability to just take anybody over and make them do whatever.
Yeah, it seems a bit OP. They should nerf flies.
Yeah, flies are OP for sure.
They need, what do they need to buff, Ross? And they need to nerf flies.
They need to buff Christina's storyline.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
It was. I think this is a lot of setup to like really compare Christina to Dolores this episode. Like, and I have a crackpot theory about Christina as well.
we'll get to Christina.
We'll get to Christina.
her.
Yeah. So that was the the cold open, and all of this cold open. I enjoyed it. Did you guys like the cold open?
Yeah, as an individual scene, it was.
I did because
I mean, yeah, the cartel thing was cool. I mean, just like we don't know what year it is, do we?
Well, yeah, with 7 years after last season took place.
So what is that?
Was last season 2048?
I think it was either 2048 or 58. I have it written down somewhere.
I think
really need to start
2058.
bringing my old notes.
I think
to recording.
2058.
Well, in the future, the cartel controls the Hoover Dam, and that's hilarious in and of
It's
itself.
important
But not only
takeaway.
that, the Man in Black is over there. And here's my first question: Is it William? Is it the Man in Black for real, or is it a host representation of the Man in Black?
That is exactly where I was going to go with this. I believe personally that it is the host version of William that we saw at the end of season 3. But what is weird to me about that whole thing is that at the end of the episode, we see that Maeve thinks it's legit William. So I'm like, wait, what?
But they were on opposite sides of the war, so I could kind of see a world where, especially like all that weird fidelity testing with William was very like underground park stuff. I'm fully, and I will eat my words if I'm wrong about this, but I'm fully under the impression that Charlotte, whoever she is now, and this host William are somehow in cahoots, and that is going to be the force behind this William Man in Black.
Because
I do not think that's a human at the very least.
We watched the host William slit real William's throat, right?
At the end of the season 3 and end credit scene.
And if Christina, who is played by the same character the same actress that used to play Dolores, but has brunette hair, is a brunette, brown hair. If Christina's a completely new character, which may be very well the case, I don't know, we'll get your takes on that later, then are all the other characters still the same? Like, are we to assume?
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of questions around that for me. Like, the who is who, and does it really matter? Or is it just about, like, I mean, it seems like this season's going to stand in a capsule, sort of, like almost like a reboot of the same show, but with a totally new world to deal with, new thing to deal with. I don't know.
I think all you really need to go into the season with is a knowledge of who you think each character is, right? So Charlotte is Dolores because we know that from last season. That was the big reveal last season, and that came into this season. William, we don't know who William is. I think the whole point of this is you're supposed to think.
But if he slit the real William,
Could have been a different timeline. That's how they get you. It's Westworld, Ross. Every time you're about to ask a question, go, wait, could that be a different timeline? And if you're not sure, then it can be.
Yeah.
If a Chiron didn't flash across the screen saying this is the date and location, and even if it did, it probably isn't.
Yeah, it said ASL, William, Dubai, horny.
So do you think they like, last question, do you think they like making it as, is like the confusing nature of the show and all the questions around who's who, is that supposed to be part of it? Or is it like unintentional confusion?
Serena, thoughts?
I'm not ready for this question.
I think it's part of the confusion. I think they think after the end or after the cold open, we all think that is the host William. I think they think all the viewers think that.
Because why would live real William roll up solo to the cartel and talk all that shit? It's got to be the host.
Well, he also has control of the fly host technology.
Right.
Which, again, he's had control of a lot of host technology before. That's not to say that he's in cahoots with Charlotte, but...
I think it's a safe assumption, though, that it's host William.
Yes, I think so. And the only reason why I doubt that is because I consider Maeve a smart character, minus her obsession with her fake daughter, and she thinks it's real William just because she saw it in that host's brain. That's all it takes for you, Maeve. You've seen so many different people in different people's bodies, Maeve, and you go, oh, look, that guy looks like William. Surely that's just him and it's not a host. What the hell, Maeve?
Well, maybe she just has no reason to question it.
7 years underground, like in hiding, will do a lot of weird stuff to your brain, even if it's a host brain.
I guess. And she's been doing that weird meditating where she like breaks the radio and turns off Bobby Bones.
Goes full 11 from Stranger Things.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
Maeve went full 11. Jesus. That was wild. Okay. As always, when there's a new season of Westworld, there's an accompanying host of new opening credits animations. And this new opening credits is perhaps my favorite one yet. It starts off with an awesome shot of what looks like a sunrise that's actually a light bulb moving over a close-up of a fly's eyeball as a fly host is being printed. I love the comparison between all like the lenses of a fly's eyeball and then the Rehoboam imagery from the last season. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was cool they kind of like transitioned it this season, going from Rehoboam, weird, funky sphere, to fly eyeball, weird, funky sphere. You get the piano strings that turn into a thread being printed by the host printer. Then we get what is, by all accounts, the tower. You see it being printed, a printed tower. Somebody here had tower thoughts, okay? Is this what you thought the tower would look like, Serena?
I had no idea what I expected, but I will say
because you don't know what
that
any architecture looks like, as we learned earlier.
I know mid-century modern and I know brutalism.
Did we know a tower was coming?
I suspected a tower was coming because at the activation event, when I was speaking to the human host, whatever, that was serving my coffee, when the chime played, he said, "At the tower, make a left," or something to that effect.
Activation activated.
Behind the scenes knowledge.
FAMF. Okay, so you knew a tower was coming. So we didn't hear about the tower until later on. So when I first watched the opening credits, I had no idea what this was. I thought it was some sort of Space Needle thingamajig. Now, the fact that it's printed like a host was weird. Are they 3D printing buildings? If they are, then what the hell is Caleb doing as a construction guy? They don't need you, loser.
No, I think you're taking the intro too literally. It's just like imagery. Like, you know how at the beginning of a Bond film they have all that weird imagery? It doesn't play into the plot. It's just representative of the shit that we're going to deal with this season or whatever.
Oh, yeah. And like when they make the like main female like counterpart of his have a really weird name, it's like that's not part of the plot. It's just like for fun.
What?
I'm thinking of a lot of China, but I think that was from Austin Powers, not James Bond.
Yeah, but that was a play on all the James Bond actresses having like ridiculously sexist names. They did have names like that, but none quite as flagrantly disturbing as a lot of vagina.
I've never seen a James Bond movie. Not a single one. Not reboot.
I've watched
original.
so many of them.
Never seen one.
Yeah. Anyway, but I think it's supposed to be more symbolic than like literal. They're not. But to your point, just because it shows a tower, obviously we're dealing with the tower. The tower gets brought up repeatedly, so it needed to be somewhere in the intro. And I think they just have it printing like that because that's how things get made or whatever.
So you think Caleb might be like a construction guy who could build a tower?
Yeah. Well, so yeah, that's his job, right? He's up there doing construction on a tower of some kind. Mm-hmm. But that's not the tower, right?
That's just a tower.
A tower, not the tower. And it's not the Dark Tower, not that novel series.
It's not the Man in the High Tower either.
Idris Elba, Matthew McConaughey, not that one.
Nor is it the two towers in The Lord of the Rings.
Thank you. Let's cover all the towers here. I want to make sure we're clear.
Towers by Bon Iver.
Also not the song Towers by Bon Iver. Not the Lord of the Rings towers. We're good. All right.
Okay, I think we covered our bases there. Hey, guess what?
Not the Eiffel Tower.
That's a different thing.
Of course, there's a human host being printed, and then there's a fucking skeleton playing the piano. What the fuck? It's been so many years of watching this stupid fucking skeleton play a stupid fucking piano, and he lifts his hands up. Guess what? The piano's playing itself. I don't give a fuck.
Wow.
I don't give a fuck. Get this fucking skeleton piano out of here.
I still like it. I still like it.
Why do you like it?
It's so weird that you're against it as the J-Bone Bone Man. It's just weird. I love dancing skeletons as a result of the Bone Zone. It's just weird.
I'm the only fucking skeleton around here.
You're anti-bone.
Do you like it, Serena?
I like it because it's a reminder where we came from. Like there's always we've veered so far from Westworld, a show that used to have horses in it. Have not seen a horse in so long. It's nice to have this imagery of the player piano. Reminds us where we started.
It also reminds me to have enough calcium intake to avoid osteoporosis.
That's what reminds you of that.
Yep.
Do you go take calcium pills?
In science class in middle school, there was always a skeleton looming in a corner.
Mine, it was Got Milk campaign. Oh, hey, Jared, drink milk or your bones are going to break in half, you stupid, fragile bitch.
That was my first porn, the Got Milk campaign ads.
Okay.
Yep.
It counts.
That took a turn.
There's another little curtain. I'll just peel back the personal one this time, Jared.
It counts. We also see two... Oh, go on, Serena.
No, I was just going to say, I like to think that Ross doesn't drink calcium for 2 years, and then Westworld comes back, and he's like, oh, shit, and he's just like calcium loading.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you also masturbated to the Got Milk ads.
Instead of carbo loading, you think Ross is calcium loading?
Yeah.
Can you have too much calcium to where you just become a bone? You become one large bone?
One time I had a drug test, and I drank too much water, so I know that's a thing.
You can drink too much water, yeah.
Yeah, it fucked me up.
So there was a campaign, it was called... Don't Wee for a Wee. This is like back when the Wii came out and you couldn't get one. And some radio station hosted a thing where you had to drink like X gallons of water and then last one to pee wins the Wii.
The Nintendo Wii. Okay,
yeah,
Nintendo.
but then a woman died because she got water poisoning.
Wow.
Rest in peace.
Okay. Jeez.
Rest in peace. Speaking of dying, we see two blank human hosts in this opening credits, kind of looking at each other, which later it looks like they're in an incinerator and they like burn up. And then the incinerator looks like a fly's eyeball because it's a bunch of little kind of hosts all burning together in these little tiny like hexagons that look like the little balls of a fly's eyeball.
Sweet balls of fire, Jared.
Sweet balls. What would you guys have anything to make of that? Like incinerator looking scene at the end of the credits?
I mean, things aren't going well. It doesn't seem. You know, it's all very ominous. The imagery.
Yeah.
Some might say it's an augury.
Ooh, I think that is an augury.
Wow.
I think it is. Speaking of things that don't look good, Ross's balls don't look good, and this episode of Freeze All Motor Functions is brought to you by Manscaped. Fellas, if you're like most men during the summer, you're more concerned with your clothes than what's going on under them. So it's pretty likely that your carpets need cleaning, drapes need dusting, and your lawn needs mowing. I'm talking about pubes, and I'm talking about you, Ross. Well, Manscaped are the global leaders in below-the-waist grooming, and they have the best tools for cleaning aisle 5 in your pants. Time to clear out your bush and join the other 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with our exclusive promo code FAMF, F-A-M-F, FAMF.
Jared, my balls are very smooth because I use Manscaped.
Oh, you must have done that earlier today because last night they were not.
Wow. Personal.
Ross, you look like your groin is absolutely disgusting right now, even though you just said it was.
Why?
So listen up. Manscaped has the full package you need for grooming yourself right up, the Performance Package 4.0. And here's the skinny. To start off, use the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer to get the most precise shave on your downstairs hedges. Waterproof, designed to reduce nicks, and is equipped with an LED light for precise trimming in the dark. I don't know why you would do that, but you can.
So you can take it in the fucking shower. It's waterproof too. Do it.
Do you have a light in your shower?
No, yeah, but it's dimmer in there. It's a romantic light for lovemaking, Jared.
True.
That's why I shave my balls in there too. Also makes for easy dispatch of the hair.
That's fair.
Falls from my nutsack.
They thought of everything. Then, make sure to clear your holes and smell the spring air with the Weed Whacker. This nose and ear hair trimmer uses skin-safe technology, which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate
I
holes.
legitimately use this a couple times a month. None of this is a joke. All of it's dead serious.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm only laughing because something else I was thinking of. And it's amazing. It's the first thing I've never trimmed my nose hair or my ear hair before, but I'm getting up there. I'm 35. You got to do something. And I use that fucking thing, and it's amazing.
After clearing your nose, Ross, you with your delicate holes, you may be a better smeller because you're cleared out some of your nose. So make sure to get rid of your foul ball smell, Ross. And you can do that with the Crop Preserver and Crop Reviver. The Crop Preserver is an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer. The Crop Reviver is a spray-on toner for your balls.
Wow, I should get that for my disgusting groin.
And then you finish off with the Plow 2.0, the perfect razor for shaving the face, because you can't use the pube trimmer on the face. That's weird.
I know, I've done it. It's not good. Don't do that.
Get 20% off plus free shipping with our code FAMF, F-A-M-F, at manscaped.com. 20% off. Free shipping. FAMF. FAMF. FAMF.
Manscaped.com.
Okay. So after the opening credits, we reunite with our old friend Dolores via the classic Westworld overhead wake-up shot, except it's not Dolores.
Just like in episode 1 of season 1 that I watched 10 minutes before I saw this scene. By accident.
See, that was really good for this callback.
Yeah.
You were really able to see the comparison.
I was like, oh, look, the same shot, but she's a brunette.
Yeah, it's not Dolores, it's Christina.
Christina.
Ex-Tina.
Yep. I also masturbated. No, I'm sorry, I won't. But Christina Aguilera's Xtina phase was sexual in nature, and I was a teenage boy. Don't judge me. Stop.
Not judging.
And okay, so what the fuck is happening here? We watched season 3. Dolores
Dies.
seemingly goes down for the squad. She plugs herself into that machine and destroys it or something.
Yeah, Dolores dies at the end of season 3. That is a fact.
So this is not Dolores.
OG Dolores, the one you
Is
see in
gone.
season 1, swatting the flies,
She's
painting
done.
pictures. Gonzo.
Pieced out.
Gonzo like
so
the
we
Muppet.
have no idea where this. Clearly it's some version of original. It looks exactly like her, except she's a brunette. But her name is Christina, and she's dealing with a lot of phone calls, spam calls that are just wildly,
relatable. That is relatable.
A lot of spam calls coming in. And
Her phone looks like my phone.
it's bad. It's bad, Jared. It's bad out there for all of us, and she can feel that. And except she's got one of them that's harassing her.
Yeah. I've got a crackpot theory about Christina's origins. Christina. You guys want to hear it?
Yep.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, the details of this whole Christina thing, pretty murky, so I had to come up with a crackpot theory to cut through the murk with my words.
Do it.
My crackpot theory is that
Do it.
when she was still alive, OG Dolores programmed a version of herself that would be able to live a full and free life along with the humans after she saved the humans. And this version that she decided to call Christina was untainted by Dolores' past and all the trauma that comes with it. So she has none of Dolores' memories. She's just a Dolores and Dolores' image with Dolores' all the wants she had back when she was, just regular Dolores wanting to write her own story, which is why she's a story writer now.
So she has all of Dolores' powers, but she doesn't even know it.
No, I don't think she has. That's actually a good point. She probably, I guess, would have Dolores' badass fighting powers and
She's
stuff.
a superhero, but she doesn't even know. She's an X-Man, but she doesn't even know it yet.
Although, if she was, I think maybe Dolores moderated her powers, like went into her little, the thing where you put the levels in and put her down to like 3 in terms of strength, because Peter really.
Yeah, but what happens when she meets fucking our boy
Which one?
with the glasses?
Oh.
What's his name?
Who's the boy? Bernard?
Bernard. What happens when she meets Bernard?
Our boy with the glasses.
He knows how to crank it up in there, dude. He knows how to juice the fucking wheel,
That's true. That's a good point. You think maybe Bernard goes in with his glasses and his Felix Grays and he juices the wheel?
He's like, hold on, you look exactly like my friend. Let me open up the back of your head and juice the wheel. What does
Serena,
that even mean?
what do you think about my crackpot theory about Christina?
I am mostly on board. I definitely had the same thought that she or somebody programmed this. I don't know if it's necessarily her because, and I don't want to fast forward too much, but later when someone comes to rescue her from Peter, who, by the way, it's Dolores' father's name, so we have another illusion there.
Oh, shit.
And you know that's not an accident. Like, they did not just like sit in the writer's room like, oh, Peter sounds like a chill name.
I think Lisa and Jonah are going to be listening to this episode of the podcast and go, holy shit, Serena's right.
Maybe they'll hire me.
Or they're going, oh, fuck, we did use that name already.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
No. But I think that someone programmed her, and I don't know if it was necessarily her, because when Peter attacks her, the person who comes and beats the shit out of Peter arrives in what looks like one of those Delos cars. So Delos seems to be at least aware of her existence and is maybe protecting her in some way, shape, or form. So
interesting.
Or someone there is.
I
Well,
did
is it
not take.
Charlotte?
I didn't take that scene of the Delos car. I didn't take that as the person arriving in that car. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought that we'll get into who the mysterious savior was, but I thought he just came out of the shadows like a shadow man.
I mean,
Or
don't they all have the same car?
Yeah, they all have the Cybertruck,
The same fucking floating.
the Delos
Ride share?
Cybertruck. Don't try to throw a rock through the window.
I think they mentioned it in the post credits, like inside the episode deal. They say something about rideshare. Like it's all rideshare.
Oh, see, I never watch those because I'm afraid that they'll like taint my thoughts before I want them to be tainted. So like I binge them after the whole season.
Oh, I
Sorry,
watched
I
it
said
to
that
try
word
to
so many
gain
times.
some semblance of what the hell is happening.
Yeah, so I thought, yeah, I would say it was a rideshare thing. I think those are the rideshare things. We see those in episodes past. I'm gonna go with Ross on this one because I want him to feel happy for having watched that.
Points for Ross. Yeah, me and my
but-
disgusting groin.
Totally, if Ross and his disgusting groin are correct, I still think that that means somebody's watching her, whether it's Delos or not. Like somebody has eyes on her, and the question is why? Is it because she works at, and again, don't want to jump ahead too much, is it because she works at Olympiad and they're protecting all of these story writers because they clearly have a bigger piece in the human architecture than we know, or is it more specific to her?
Let's jump off that, and I want you to explain to all the people, including me and Ross, what you think Olympiad does, because aside from Christina's job being to write the dialogue for NPCs, I don't know if this is a Westworld style full-on life simulation thing where you go into a park. I don't know if this is just a video game. I don't know if this is VR. I don't know if this is AR. I have no idea what Olympiad Entertainment actually does.
Well, I think we're not supposed to know. I think it's supposed to be a little bit murky at this point, but and sorry for this reference, but my first thought was thinking about like that microverse episode of Rick and Morty where it's like every universe is like a mini universe powering another universe powering another universe. So I think what the people working at Olympiad think is that they're game designers, but then we have this Peter character who's very insistent that it's like a stranger than fiction situation where she is in fact writing his life. And I do feel like there's no way they're putting this big, every season we have a new company, except 1 and 2 we had Delos, 3 we had Insight, 4 now we have Olympiad.
I'm
I feel like
excited, yeah.
we need an Olympiad song now.
Oh, they already have one. The Olympic theme song. Bum, ba, 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 ba. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum. Ba, fam, ba, fam, 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 fam.
All right, I caught on there at the end.
And then you got Bob Costas. This is the games of the blah, 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 I'm Bob Costas, man. Go on, Serena. Yeah.
Sorry, that was so breathtakingly beautiful. I lost my train of thought.
No, but
I
it
think-
really did. Okay, so obviously she has no idea what is actually.
she has no idea.
Like she doesn't know what this guy's talking about. She thinks he's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Just some lunatic yelling at her. He is insistent that she is writing the story to his life.
Yeah.
And the first question I have is how the fuck is he, if she is, well, it's not in some video game. Like this guy's right there. He comes and finds her.
Yeah. So this guy comes in, talking about the tower, talking about how do you know so much about me? Like you're ruining my life. Then you have the other guy, which Christina walks by on her way to work, who's another crazy guy talking about the tower. So you have at least two people talking about the tower, seemingly crazy, seemingly total outliers in this society, living in the general population. That I in terms of the world building, I'm so confused so far, and I'm supposed to be, and I understand that and respect that, but I've not been able to gauge whether Dolores is like part of the actual highest level real world, or whether she's some cog like Rehoboam style in another version of the world that's replaced
You mean
the
Christina?
Rehoboam world. What'd I say?
Dolores.
Are you fucking kidding?
Dolores, she's deceased.
Okay.
It's Christina. It's ex-Tina.
Ex-Tina.
Get horny with
Okay, ex-Tina.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is the most, it's like, that's the thing. We're obviously not supposed to have all the answers yet. That's what the show does.
Yes.
But this is a very trackable storyline with a fresh character that I don't need to have any past information attached to, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. It was easy to follow what I was supposed to know, right? And it was obviously pretty, intriguing. It was captivating to see her getting like stalked by some dude who apparently she's writing his life. But if she's writing his life, did she write this? That he's gonna come? I guess maybe it's not only things she writes that happened to him. He has free will. I don't know. We're gonna find out.
Yeah.
But there's a lot going on. Yeah.
Yeah. Serena.
I just have a question because with this whole Dolores Christina mix up, and it's an open ended. Like I'm sure we'll get more answers as the season goes, but. In this first scene with her, not only do we have the wake up, we see it in her bedroom. It's this kind of like brutalist style architecture. I told you it's the only other thing I know. And then we see this wooden easel, which looks a lot like the easel Dolores used to paint landscapes on in Westworld. And then we go out into the main room and we have this white shoe or black shoe moment. Are all of these things just like a callback to the idea of loops? Or is it Easter eggs for longtime viewers? Or are we supposed to read into the fact that this is a recycled and reprogrammed consciousness? And I have thoughts about it later, but like I'm leaning towards the last one. But after they did that thing, and I never got over this, in season 2, where the preview showed them flipping through all these drawings, and I had all of these takes on it.
You've been harping on this for like 3 years.
I'm not over it.
Wait, hold
had
on. What
so
was
many...
it? I don't remember that. Say it.
So in the trailers for season 2, they had this shot where like they were looking through Dolores's old house in the Westworld park, and they flipped through all of the paintings that she ever did on the easel. And I had all of these takes about what it was going to mean. And then I don't know if it just got left on the cutting room floor or if it was a total red herring, but it never came into play in the season.
Serena, that is your version of my obsession with the wolf. That fucking wolf. What the fuck is that wolf doing?
In this case, I think Christina's whole setup does mirror Dolores's whole setup in not just in the way they obviously pan out from her face and all that, but the room and such. And obviously they do the white shoe, black shoe thing to mirror white hat, black hat. It just... I mean, I think it was a mix of both like cute little callbacks, like, haha, you're back in watching Westworld again. And also maybe a hint of subtext to whether or not that actually is a version of Dolores' consciousness. But it could also be, like you said, some carried over consciousness or something. I don't know. It's just, we're obviously not supposed to have the answer yet.
Is it cheesy, by the way? The whole white shoe, black shoe thing with Maya, right when she walked out of her bedroom. Is it cheesy? First, is it cheesy of the season?
Which part?
Think
Maya going, which pair should I wear? The white pair or the black pair? And she's wearing a white dress, just like the hosts are when they present you with the hats.
My personal first cheesy moment of this season was, this is America, everything's for sale.
That was pretty bad. Yep, didn't even...
That one was mine.
Yeah. Serena, is it cheesy?
I think I audibly said boo. I don't think it's cheesy because it prompted my first crackpot theory, which is it could totally be a red herring. But that moment, because they obviously wanted you to notice it, but it's not like they were like white or black. They didn't like draw it out excessively.
Yeah, they didn't.
Made me think that maybe you think they did draw it out excessively.
No, I think they did not draw. They didn't like zoom in on each one and like slow down her saying it.
Right. And they didn't even say white or black. It was kind of like a blink and you miss it, or like if you're not a crazy person doing a Westworld
Yeah, I thought that was
podcast.
appropriate. I thought that was appropriate.
But I did think that they're foreshadowing that Maya is a plant to keep an eye on Christina with part of Dolores's consciousness. That is my first crackpot theory, that was them foreshadowing that Maya is some kind of plant.
You think she's a plant? She looks like a human to me.
That was coming.
Got him. J-Bone. No, it's a good theory. It's a good crackpot theory. Can appreciate that.
Sure. Oh, sure.
She does have some plants on her balcony, so that could tie in.
She's gonna fit in with them perfectly.
Speaking, by the way, of the plants on her balcony, there's something else. Well, a fire escape, I guess. In New York, you call it. Well, I guess it's San Francisco.
No, I think this is New York because that scene where she's walking to work is on the High Line, which is where the Westworld activation event was. So I did want to call attention to this because I was trying to describe what the High Line looked like on last week's episode. When Christina is walking to work, that is literally where I was walking, where the whole performance was.
No way.
Mm-hmm. So, and that goes from like it Chelsea, and then it runs. God, New Yorkers are going to kill me if I say this wrong, but I think it runs through the West Village, which is where I got off. Could be wrong. Always get my New York neighborhoods confused.
Ross,
but I'm
should we yell at her?
sure
Should we yell at her like two angry New Yorkers? Hey! Whoa!
some
Pipe down out
Walking
there.
Learn your routes of the tube.
I mean, it could still be San Francisco, or like it's a constructed New York within San Francisco, but I feel like it would be strange, kind of like you guys picked up on the Hoover Dam right away. I didn't because I'm dumb. It would be strange to take such an iconic thing from New York and be like, oh, it's San Francisco.
I like the idea that like it's like how they do Chinatown in a lot of cities. I like the idea that they're doing Little New York in San Francisco. That would be way funnier to me. Start doing little versions of other. Imagine, Ross, if there was a little San Francisco in Austin. That would be the douchiest place on God's green earth.
Yeah, we're doing it. I should note she picks the white shoes. By the way,
she does.
Goes with white.
She does pick the white shoes. Now, Serena, as our resident female here on the podcast, I would like you to break down the first date that Christina had with the investor bro. How did it go?
God.
Would you, if you're Christina, are you gonna hit him up for another one?
No, I feel like I've been on this date, especially being from San Francisco, like where they like manufacture crypto bros. I felt her pain wholeheartedly, and I don't think I have the constitution to walk out on a date, but like I did not fault her for running off to the bathroom.
Yeah,
given how he treated her.
You mean here's a direct quote from this date. You sound depressed.
He was a little Patrick Bateman-y.
He was very Patrick Bateman-y.
Yeah.
Were they at Dorsia? Is that where the date was?
Dorsia?
Yeah.
Try getting a reservation at Dorsia now.
By the way, at this date, she says, I've been working on a new game, which gave me major Dr. Ford the Door vibes.
Oh, yeah, that is a good callback.
I have this all goes into my paragraph at the end about games and the maze, and
we've been teasing this paragraph so hard. It better be the best paragraph like in the history of the podcast.
It's a mediocre paragraph, but it's going to tie a lot of things together.
Okay. Do you guys have anything more to say about Peter? We covered it pretty well. You know, when he jumps off the building, he says, "Is this up to me, or did you write this too?" So I think we know that there's some connection between her job and what Olympiad Entertainment does and regular people. And do you have any other thoughts there, or do you think we're just not supposed to know?
No, I think we covered it pretty well earlier.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, the guy kills himself, so there's something going on. Like
there's something there.
You know,
where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah, he does a header off the fucking building. So something obviously is going to continue to happen in that realm, and we'll find out more.
Well, I do wonder, this is my last thought, if there's something to do with the implant that they were using in season 3, because we have that the imagery later with Caleb where he's in front of that wall and it says "My brain, my choice," and it makes me wonder if there's like some, and again, not a fully formed theory at this point, but some crossover between like the implant and using it to control people, and if those are people that are susceptible to being part of these narratives. Haven't fully gotten there, but I do wonder if there's a tie-in of some sort.
I'll note that her boss directly asked for more stories where like everyone dies too. Like, did she just say that?
The boss did ask for that. Yeah.
Oh no! I thought Serena might have just mentioned that as well. I kind of was reading something for a second, but yeah. So it's like it's interesting to me that there's not only is she writing this stuff and there's someone accusing her of being in control of their life via the writing. They're also being directed to write like extremely fucked up shit.
Yeah.
Well, and was that another season 1 callback? Because again, it's been a while, but do you remember with Lee Sizemore and they were trying to amp up the narratives to be more within the park, to be more graphic or gory?
I think that's also just a reference to like
content,
modern day content, right? Like like the violence and everything has been ratcheted up so much from back in the day. It's just So
I have 2 more things I want to say about Christina before we move on to Maeve. First one, who do you think left the maze on Dolores' fire escape before her date? Do you think it was Peter? Do you think it was Teddy? Or, I have a crackpot theory here. I think it was actually the neighbor kid who smokes weed on the fire escape, like Maya said. You know?
He's just high.
I think that it's just some high kid who's like, oh, this is fucking sick, dude.
I think it was Teddy, but I'll save my thoughts till the end, I guess, when we talk about Teddy.
Serena?
I also think it was Teddy.
You don't think it was the high teen?
No, just you.
Just you. Are we going to move on from Christina completely? Like, is this a good time to submit my last Christina take, or are we going to go back to her at the end?
Well, we are going to do one more thing, and that is talk about who saved Christina. And it was fucking Teddy. Holy, this was the moment on this episode where I was like, whoa! I did the full Leonardo DiCaprio point I was like, I know that guy. I fucking know that guy. That's fucking Ted.
Okay, I did not react at all to this. And then in the post credits thing, they really played it up to like been a huge reveal for the audience.
It was a big reveal for me.
And I was like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't remember where we fucking left Teddy.
He's dead as fuck. She killed him. OG Dolores killed that man in a barn, an old barn.
So he never came back from there?
No.
That was the last time we saw Teddy. Was when Dolores murdered him.
Serena?
In season 1.
No, it's season 2.
That's what season 2. Remember?
Season 2.
I was recalling the Air Ted.
The what?
You laughing at your own jokes?
Yeah, season 2.
Yeah, so
no, I just felt like I was talking.
I know you're good. That's all I remember is she killed him in that rundown barn. Do you have any other remembrance of Teddy? I completely kicked him out of my brain. He was back to being Cyclops in my head.
I thought he'd come back and like teamed up with Bernard or something. Oh, that was
Ashley Stubbs.
Ashley Stubbs. Okay, so this was a really big reveal then. Because we hadn't seen Teddy since that scene, I was confusing him with
So you've been
Ashley
operating
Stubbs.
for the last 24 hours under the idea that
Roughly.
Ashley Stubbs...
Well, no, I was just combining their characters in my head.
Okay.
Look, if they didn't want stuff like that to happen, they shouldn't make the show so confusing.
They shouldn't cast so many hot guys, any more ugly guys.
Yeah, and they're both like the hot in their mid-40s, maybe early 50s age, you know what I mean? So it is what it is.
Just total beef buses.
Okay, so yeah, this guy, not dead.
Teddy.
How'd he get back? Where the fuck did he come from?
I don't fucking know. Serena?
Your
I
thoughts?
don't know either, but I will say that last shot, I got visible goosebumps, so I was affected by it.
Visible, like you were looking at your own goosebumps. Why weren't you watching the show that we're podcasting about?
Wow.
That's not a good. So Ross is going to peel back the curtain and say that's not good podcast hosting. If you were looking at your visible goosebumps instead of the show we're podcasting
No, it's
about.
much better to have looked at the screen and gone, yeah, so what? Ashley Stubbs was in last season. Which is what I did.
Okay, Serena, it's time for Serena's Christina takes.
Okay, so all the parallelism to season 1, and then Christina has this line at the end where she says, I want a story with a happy ending, which is an old Dolores reverie, if you will. Dolores wanted a happy ending. She wanted to see the beauty in the world, but she never got it, right? Violence happened to her. It happened around her, and she ended up being kind of a pawn in this game.
A past
and
pawn.
Now she's Exactly. Thank you. And now she's the one writing the games, but it kind of seems like she's still a pawn if she has control over people and she doesn't know about it. I do think it ties into Delos somehow, but I think she's been reprogrammed, repurposed, and recycled. But the point of Westworld is that the nature of humanity, your personal humanity, doesn't change. When Dolores was Charlotte, the thing that gave her away is that she cared about Charlotte's family. And Sirach has this line where she says, the real Charlotte would have never taken the time to check on her son. Not with everything going on at Delos. Isn't it ironic that you ended up caring about her family more than the person you're impersonating? And so I feel like, and again, this kind of goes into the question that I was asking earlier, there has to be some part of Dolores left over that's been reprogrammed. But the thing that we learned about the hosts is that they do have their own individual humanity that never really leaves them. And that's why we're getting all of these reveries and callbacks. And we did see in the preview for the next episode that she recognizes Teddy. She says, I'm sure I've seen you somewhere before. And he's like, no, like you haven't. So that was
they found dead Dolores after she destroys Rehoboam. And they went, we got to fire her back up, but let's give her a new identity.
Well, no, because so OG Dolores is she was totally erased herself. So it's got to be the same. It's got to be like a version of Dolores, just like Charloris is, just like Dolorence was, and all the other ones from last season.
I don't know. I like that. that's a more like tangible plot, though, to me.
Yeah, but it's not possible. That was the whole. That was the big reveal last season. Is that OG Dolores is dead, sacrificed herself for Maeve and the hosts. In my opinion.
Yeah, but they could have taken her body and put a new identity in it.
Yeah. Which brings me to my point here. Give me each your biggest crackpot theory as to who could be inside of Christina that is not a Dolores like version.
So you think it could be anybody?
I think it could be fucking anybody. I think our brains tell us that it's got to be a Dolores because it fucking looks like Dolores. Well, Charloris looks like Charlotte Hale, and that's Dolores. So who the fuck is in Christina?
I don't think it's like one of the identities swapped into her. I think it's Christina. Like I think it's I'm more on line with what Serena was saying. Damn, I'm gonna do it too.
I know it's hard.
Because it just seems more. It would be easier to explain, I think. So I don't know. We'll see. But
yeah, that's something this show likes to do.
We obviously have no idea. I think it would be weird, considering they do give us a lot of the Dolores nods, to have it not be like a Dolores tie-in in the end.
But it would be so Westworld, because that's the other thing. Like, I was drafting this whole thing last night, and then I was like, this is what they want us to think. So that makes me want to go back on my own theory, which is why I brought it up, because it would be very in true Westworld fashion to build something that seems, it's almost like it's too easy to just believe, like it's the same actress. Like, there's no.
That's why I would love it, though, because it's like, it got to be too bullshit with like anybody could be anybody, and it's like that is not. It takes away all the stakes. It takes away all the potential, bad stuff, the weight of it all. So it's like, I think restoring that to some extent. I mean, it could be. I will be a little upset if it's just some random character stuffed into a former Dolores lookalike that's gone brunette. That's
a good take, Ross. And I think if it is somebody, it is a character that we all know, just not Dolores. Now, what Serena's doing is what sports bettors call fading herself, which is where you take what you think and go, wait, I'm stupid. It can't be what I think. It's got to be the opposite of what I think.
Yeah.
And that's called fading yourself.
That's right. That's exactly right. I fade myself all the time when I bet on sports on mybookie.ag, Jared.
Oh, this episode of Freeze on Motor Functions is also brought to you by mybookie.ag. Now that the Stanley Cup is over and my sweet, beloved Tampa Bay Lightning have had their chances at a true hockey dynasty killed dead, we must all face a sad truth. We've entered the sports dry season.
That's true, Jared.
No NFL, no NHL, no NBA, no college sports. We got baseball, we got motorsports like Formula One, we got combat sports like UFC, and then Wimbledon. And that's pretty much it.
And the World Games.
I think there's college baseball still, maybe.
That just ended.
Oh, it's over, yeah.
What was that? What did you say, Serena?
Wimbledon.
The World Games.
The World Games.
World Games.
What's the World Games?
It's everything that's not in the Olympics. So there's like
Darts?
handball, but like Underwater basket weaving.
Billiards.
That one's
Okay.
not in there.
Well, guess what? In order to make all these sports that's just what we got to watch right now.
Sports.
Feel like the big ones. There's only one thing you can do: bet on them with MyBookie for that extra skin in the game and thus that extra excitement in your life. Whether you're a diehard fan of or a newcomer to the current lineup of top spectator sports, there's never been a better time to join the MyBookie family. Getting started is simple. Just use promo code FAMF. All our promo codes are FAMF right now. This is amazing. FAMF. To secure your first deposit bonus up to $1,000 with MyBookie. Stipulations apply, so check those out when you're signing up. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie and spice up this crappy time in sports. By the way, if you want a nice pair of bets to use, J-Bone, like Max Verstappen to win the 2022 British Grand Prix at -110, with a little long shot chaser paired with it of Lewis Hamilton to win at +1400. And of course, follow my Formula One content brand at Formula Bone everywhere, especially TikTok and YouTube. Thank you very much.
Some F1 bets for you there.
Okay, guess what? It's Maeve time, bitches.
Okay.
Maeve's been living out in the woods for the last 7 years.
She's doing the old, what's his name? Matt Damon? Jason Bourne, dude. She's just fucking doesn't want to be a part of society anymore, you know?
Oh my God, it's Maeve.
Yep.
The new me. Serena, we're going to need a Jason, oh my God, it's Maeve, Jason Bourne meme, I think. We meet Maeve while she's reliving memories of her daughter, Hector, Clementine, and Caleb, during which we learn that Caleb, I guess, got shot and badly injured, seemingly during some mission to what it looked like was destroy Solomon, which that's how I took it, because as we know, Rehoboam already is dead at those two's hands, and it looks like they're back in Mexico, so I assume they're going, we killed Rehoboam, time to kill Solomon. Oh my God, it's Maeve. That's how what did you guys read that whole Caleb getting shot thing any differently than I did?
I didn't even see. I assumed that was footage from season 3, which I've pretty much forgotten.
That's it. It wasn't, because he never got shot that bad, to my knowledge.
I just thought it was like because we later learned that it's 7 years after season 3 and there was a war. So I just assumed it was like hey, we're not going to show you the last 7 years, but he got shot.
Yeah, but he got shot pretty bad. And it looked like he was going to die, and I thought he was going to die, and then we ended up seeing him shortly afterwards. But do you think it looks like they destroyed Solomon? Is that supposed to be, if that's true, maybe it's crackpot theory, I don't know, but if it's true, is that supposed to just like tie a knot on the whole?
Is that what the war was?
It was against Insight, yeah.
The company?
Yeah, and Rehoboam and what they did. Remember all the riots at the end of last season?
Yeah, but
Marshawn Lynch.
But did they also own Solomon?
Yeah,
Insight?
yeah. Solomon
Yeah,
was the
would've made
predecessor.
Would have made sense that they had to go after that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So yeah, I was like, oh shit, Caleb might be dead. Holy shit! And by the way, us seeing Caleb get shot now has to. This is a Westworld tenet. Caleb could be a host.
I mean, we 2 seasons ago we hit anyone on this show could be a host at any given moment.
You could be a host right now.
So for sure, I don't think. Here's what I'm saying. I don't think that scene makes it any more likely that he is a host. I'm in Serena's camp. I think it was just like this guy was in a war. A lot of time has passed. At some point, he was even shot. That's so crazy. He must have been a really big hero in the war, or whatever. You know?
Okay. Serena, do you read that any differently?
But he could be. He could be a host for sure.
I mean, I wouldn't go so far as to rule anything out, but I don't think it. And I'm happy to eat my words if I'm wrong. I don't think it means he's a host.
Eat them.
So these memories that Maeve has cause her to create some electrical disturbance that causes a power outage in her area. I wonder, do you think it sent out a text alert to everybody? There's been a power outage in your area.
Wow.
We're working diligently to fix it. But I don't know. They're in the woods. They probably don't have phones. They don't have sat phones. Some of them do, I guess.
Uh-huh.
By the way, that dude working at the country store, I like him. We're never going to see him again. That dude is never, ever going to be shown in this series ever again. He had a phenomenal 2 scenes, technically. The one of Maeve talking to him, then the one of him in talking to Colonel Brigham in Colonel Brigham's brain. Besides that,
Don't want anybody like that in my town, Jared. All you have to say is you're my friend, and he'll tell you where my house is and shit. What the fuck?
So you don't like him? That's just what you do in the small
garbage
town.
Security, bro.
He's not a security guy.
These
He's
guys
a freaking.
could not have looked more suspicious. He's like, yeah, Maeve's right up the hill. Go ahead and murder her. No problem. Yeah, I'll give her a call and let her know you're coming. Fuck that guy, dude.
he just doesn't think people are bad. He's got a shiny outlook on the world.
He's a dumbass. He needs to be more fucking realistic about people in 2022, dude. In 2057, wherever we're at.
So that power outage leads the bad guys right to Maeve. They've been looking for her for 7 years. They're like, oh my god, that was all we needed.
Brought us right to you. There's never power outages anywhere else. So obviously this one was you because you do power outages, Maeve.
And thank God we found this man who tell us exactly where you live.
Because he's a fucking idiot working at this general store. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you've turned me around on this guy. This guy sucks. I'm happy he's out of the series.
That dude is a rat. He's like all the people in The Hobbit when the fucking guys on horses roll up to Hobbit Town and they're all like, yeah, the Bagginses are that way. It's like, you rat bastard.
He's the opposite of that guy at the in the beginning of Inglourious Bastards.
Exactly.
Complete opposite.
He goes down with the ship. It's a shitty ship he was on, though.
What was the girl's name that he screams out? It's a French name?
Shoshana!
Shoshana!
There you go.
Thank you. Always going to rely on Ross for a movie quote. Yeah, Maeve proceeds to brutally annihilate every single person there that came after her. And then learned from old Confederado Colonel Brigham. If you remember this guy, he was a Confederado colonel. Same actor. And we learned that it was William who sent them. Again, Maeve thinks it's normal William who's trying to kill all hosts.
So this seems like confirmation, though, of the recycled host thing, right? Colonel Brigham, who she recognizes as former Colonel Brigham.
Yes.
He has no idea that he was formerly Colonel Brigham. We can assume that's the same state Dolores is going to be in. Even if somebody brings up Dolores, she has no idea.
Mm-hmm. And there was another old host sighting. And obviously that was our man, Walter, one of Rebus's milk boys, is sent to kill Caleb.
Wow, really?
That was one of the milk boys.
Wow, one of the OG milk boys,
the same actor. I love when what's this dude been up to? This dude, if he's been drinking milk for 5 years, the fuck has this guy been doing?
Committing sexual
crimes. They really emptied
crimes.
out cold storage.
Yeah, they've really emptied out cold storage. Who we get next? That the naked ass crazy lumber guy from season 1 who they find in the ditch. Oh my God, old Bill. Oh, hey Ross. I love you.
Ring.
I love that guy. He was cool.
So we had those kids. I mean, I think you were fixing to get to this. I'm not sure. But the kids that walk by that yell, "This place is fucking wild. Can't believe this is your first time." And that made me think that whole thing was a park.
Yeah. So that line right there is, to me, the one thing that makes me like, oh shit, is Dolores living? And that's why they included it.
So that coupled with all these other hosts being repurposed into other characters makes me think we're just in a park. Like that combined with the fact that we end up going to 1930s gangster town, it just I don't know. I don't know how we get it. We zoom out eventually and find out what's obviously going to be in the storyline. But it makes me that to me was the most interesting line in the whole episode.
Yes, and that was also in the freaking trailer because that is the only thing.
Oh, was it really?
Yes, that is the seed that they are putting in. They put it in the trailer and they put it in this episode to make us go, are they in a park? I don't think they are. I think all the hosts are being controlled by Charloris. She's sending them out to do her bidding in the real world. That's where I stand. I think they are in the real world, but the real world is not a totally free real world. I think the real world still has some weird shit going on, but I think every host.
Do you think those guys were talking about going to a park for the first time?
I don't know what the fuck those guys are doing, and it pisses me off. Serena, any ideas?
I feel like they could just be talking about New York.
It was so front and center, like, this place is fucking wild. Can't believe this is your first time. But I mean,
I know, but I also feel like this is the show of red herrings. So again, I never know which way to lean into something. And it's not the first time, again, with the fucking drawings that they put something in a trailer that means nothing.
I figured it out. They're saying to their friend, oh my God, I can't believe you've never been to Little New York City in San Francisco.
Well, I thought about that too. I honestly, when you were making that joke, I almost brought it up that maybe the world did get destroyed in some nuclear episode and now they have mini versions of all of these cities within some industrialized.
Yeah, you're insane then because I was fucking kidding.
Oh, I know, but I actually have this thought. I am insane. This is not news.
Okay.
No, to me, I thought it was very that seemed like it had a lot of intent to it, that line. So I think I'm sticking with it really mattering.
And finally, we have Caleb. He is still working construction 7 years later, after the war, I guess. This time, though, he's working without a friendly robot counterpart because we learn that the riots that we saw in season 3, they took place 7 years ago, and that's, by the way, the same amount of time Maeve said she was in the woods, so we know the whole 7-year timeline sets up. We learn that robots have been banned from working construction and presumably all like automated human jobs as a result of the Insight riots. So we're seeing anti-robot sentiment because of the dangers of AI. Is Andrew Yang president in this show?
He followed me on Twitter today, Jared.
Andrew Yang followed?
Swear to God, most random thing ever for you to bring that up. On my mother, I swear. Andrew Yang followed me on Twitter today, and he's not one of those guys that follows like 30,000 people. He follows like 3,800 or something.
How many people do you think follow Andrew Yang? Or how many people do you think he follows? Sorry.
3,467.
Are you looking?
I think it's like 3,800.
No,
it's under 10,000. Ross.
What is it?
It's 9,173.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that guy followed me today.
I want to follow him. I think he follows back.
I think it was a team follow back situation because he was making some statements that I agreed with, so I followed him, but I did get the follow back. So maybe he follows back every blue check mark. Who knows? Anyway, moving on.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Andrew Yang. You're welcome for the plug. But yeah, so no robots. The anti-AI sentiment is very heavy now. And then you've got obviously like he's the other part of Caleb being he's got some version of PTSD.
Yes.
As a result of his time in combat, and his wife kind of drops that classic PTSD thing on him. I don't think it's that you're scared. I think it's that you miss it, like he's addicted to it or whatever. There's a lot of military films about this kind of sentiment.
That doesn't sound very supportive.
That was kind of a cheesy moment to me when she laid it out because I was like, okay, come on. It's kind of on the nose. But obviously we're supposed to realize this guy's dealing with a lot of issues as a result of how much he's been through, including what we saw when we last saw him, but also since then.
Yeah, and he has a wife and a daughter now.
And a daughter, yeah.
Frankie.
So at first when I saw his daughter, I thought he had made a daughter with Maeve. But then I realized Maeve was a robot. And bless you, gesundheit. And then I quickly shut my dumb mouth.
Yeah. Smart.
But I did think that.
Yeah. So, and again, the whole thing about the wife talking about his PTSD is another thing where we talk about people call you crazy. Another one of those.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like we discussed, Caleb teams up with Maeve at the end of the episode and also his army buddies, I guess. They're like, hey.
I thought that was her squad.
I thought that was his army buddies. I thought it was like a Barry situation where he just calls up his old army buddies.
And they were like, all right, we're fucking in.
Yeah.
We're gonna go somewhere. We're gonna hurt some people.
And they're going
driving.
They're going to get William, who may not be William. So I'm interested to see how that plays out.
Yeah.
Serena, guess what time it is?
What?
Guess what time it is?
Is it time for the NPR style sign off?
No, it's time for your paragraph about the.
Oh, my paragraph was the parallelism.
She read her paragraph.
Oh.
I did my paragraph. I do have some parting thoughts though.
And now you first. Go ahead.
Me, go.
Oh, it's your turn for the parting.
You're good.
You gotta. We want to hear your parting thoughts.
Give your takes.
Well, I just have two questions. First of all, who do we think the senator in California William is going to see is?
Gavin Newsom. Wait, no, he's the governor. I don't know. Pass. Ross?
Newt Gingrich.
Reanimated. The Newt.
Reanimated Newt Gingrich.
I think it's Richard Nixon's severed head in a jar. Oh.
Who do you think it is? It's the future. How the fuck are we supposed to know?
Oh, JFK Jr. One of the Kennedys.
I think it's got to be someone we know, like whether it's another like host in a new consciousness thing.
Oh, you're thinking it's going to be a character from the show.
Yes. I don't think I mean, again, maybe I'm reading into a line that doesn't mean anything, but why would they say he's very interested in talking to a senator from California? And then Caleb's like, oh, we should get to
Who would
first.
make sense as a senator from California?
Who are their senators? Dianne Feinstein.
No, I'm saying who.
Nancy Pelosi.
Who from the show, from seasons 1 through 3, would make sense as a senator from California? I can't really think of anybody. I don't know.
Jamie Dutton.
Who does the Man in Black deal with typically? Other than Dolores.
It's Lawrence. He loves Lawrence.
Yeah, honestly. I was thinking Lawrence. I've always liked Lawrence's appearances. He's a great character.
That would be funny.
What about that crazy Confederado guy, the blonde guy with the short hair from season 2? He was like the leader for a bit.
Oh yeah, I forgot about.
He's kind of hot. I think it's gonna be a hot senator.
Well, anyway, we'll see. Next question.
Okay. In the preview for the next episode, Maeve says she's going to do to us what your kind did to mine. Do we think she's talking about Charlotte?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yes,
that's what I thought about that. I'm kind of in the camp of not wanting to watch the next episode teasers personally.
I don't think I watched it.
Yeah, because I think that just we're just gonna speculate, but maybe people want our speculation. I suppose
the rest of the show is speculation. I don't think we need to speculate about what we're going to speculate about next week. That's ridiculous. But
I'm sorry.
and I'm not going to watch them because I don't like the spoilers, man. They show too much sometimes.
Yeah, they do.
But this episode as a whole was a fairly cohesive start. It wasn't like the bang that I wanted out of the first episode. I wanted to come out of it like, oh, fuck yes, completely back on track. But it's a step in the right direction where I could track most of what was happening. We're not supposed to know why any of it's happening or who any of it's happening to yet, but generally, I was able to follow what was happening and I was entertained the whole time, which is good. I still am struggling with Aaron Paul.
He's lost some weight.
Trying really hard. He's gaunt in the face as a result of the PTSD. But yeah, I'm still struggling with him a little bit. Other than that, it was great to see everybody again, like a lot of the characters again. We obviously are still missing some first-time introductions for the season with some big-timers like Bernard.
Charloris.
Miss Bernard, where's he at? Charloris also. Yeah, so
although you thought we saw Stubbs.
I obviously in my mind had already seen Ashley Stubbs again. Turns out it's a character that I'd long forgotten. Anyway, yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see where we go this season. I do like the Christina storyline the most so far. It's the most intriguing thing to me. It seems to carry the heaviest. Like, I mean, they've kind of rid the world of its issues, right? This team of AI and Aaron Paul, and this would be a new issue if there's a company programming people's lives somehow through their technology. So we'll see, man. I'm excited to be back, and we got 7 more.
Oh yeah, 7 more, and
so it's something else to pay close attention to for me is like the pace of this season because they don't have that much real estate to work with in terms of episodes. And because it is such a reset, sort of, we're 7 years later, we've got all this new stuff going on. So I'm interested to see how quickly we start getting into the shit. And it was a good setup. Good setup in episode 1.
Very not confusing. I left it knowing pretty much what was happening, which usually I feel like in one of these season premieres is not the case.
Yeah, what gets confusing is when you two psychos start pulling at all these fucking unnecessary threads.
Well,
this was the least confusing episode we've had in a while.
What gets confusing is when I make a joke and Serena goes, "No, that actually is my real theory." I was like, "What the?
I still can't believe that happened." I was blown away.
Complete joke. Like I was like looking around you guys' reactions for like a laugh.
I couldn't tell if she was going over the top on you, like double joking, and I was just like, I'm gonna sit here.
Yeah, you should have faded yourself on that one. Sports joke. Hey, listen up. Do not forget to participate in our Apple Podcasts rate and review contest going on now through the end of June, at the end of this month. This contest has absolutely incredible prizes that I honestly cannot believe we're doing because it's so insane. Ross, I'm going to beg you, please change the prizes up. They're too good. Please, Ross.
They are phenomenal prizes. I've checked with the accounting department. They're not going to sink the company, Jared. You don't have to worry. But they are very, that's how good they are. We still had to check. We had to get with the team, bring all the accountants into a room and ask, can we afford this? Can we really, truly afford it? And just barely, but no raises, no Christmas bonus for us this year. It's
so easy to enter this contest. It has amazing prizes. Even if you don't listen to Freeze All Motor Functions on Apple Podcasts, maybe your Spotify, maybe your YouTube, which we are now, all you have to do is go to the Freeze All Motor Functions Apple Podcast page, then subscribe, rate, and review the show by the end of June 30th.
Do it.
10 winners will be chosen in July, and those winners will receive a loot box valued at 100 smackaroonies. That's $100.
$100.
And this loot box contains exclusive, not available for purchase, Freeze All Motor Functions merch, as well as products from sponsors. Even if you've already left us a review in the past, you can enter the contest by just writing another one. Look forward to that. Get in on the action.
Make sure you come back in July. It'd still be listening, obviously, so you can hear if you're a winner.
You can and should follow us on Instagram at Freeze All Motor Functions and Twitter and TikTok at Freeze All Motor. TikTok starting up, Ross.
TikTok, big on TikTok.
And if you prefer to watch your podcasts, every episode of Freeze All Motor Functions is also available now on YouTube for the first full season, FAMF, on YouTube. Everybody here, Serena, Ross,
You,
the two dogs sitting down there,
Bruce and Bella,
which did a great job in the thunderstorm. It was really thundering.
they stayed calm. I'm proud of them.
Thank you guys for being here. Did you have fun?
I had a blast. Happy to be back, for real. Follow me at WRBOLEN on Twitter and Instagram.
Serena, where can they follow you?
I am at Serena_Therese on all forms of social media.
Are there two A's at the end of that? Like you're... No?
Please don't dox my email address.
That's your email?
Yeah.
Oh, also,
Yeah, please don't email me. I won't respond.
hey, grab yourself a Freeze All Motor Functions t-shirt on bowlinmedia.com/shop. Just click on Freeze All Motor Functions. We got a couple different options for you. The FAMF Robo t-shirt and the Logo t-shirt, both available for you to represent the FAMF community on the streets of your town or city.
Ross and I podcast together also on a little podcast called the Ross Bolin Podcast.
That's true, we do. We have a good time. It's a comedy show. Jared and I strive to entertain the people at least once a week during the summer, a couple times a week during the rest of the year. The Ross Bolin Podcast, also available wherever you listen to Freeze All Motor Functions.
Yeah, right now you're like, oh, I finished FAMF. Go listen to the Ross Bolin Podcast. And after you listen to the Ross Bolin Podcast, you can listen to my solo podcast called Formula Bone F1 Show. If you're a Formula One fan, I am the greatest.
F1 fans, get at Formula Bone. It's huge.
If you like Formula One, you will love Formula Bone.
At Formula Bone on TikTok. Get on his TikTok. 150,000 followers on TikTok. Jared started this last season. It's a huge F1 brand now. Does it all by himself. He's great. The podcast is great.
Thank you.
It's great because it's like if you're entry level, you can understand what he's talking about. If you want more high level stuff, he gets into some of the more ticky-tacky F1 information. So you get a little bit of both. It's a lot of fun. Formula Bone F1 Show, available wherever you listen to FAMF.
And lastly, House of the Dragon coming back soon.
Oh, it's true. Right after Westworld, we've got House of the Dragon, where we will be covering every episode with our companion podcast, Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, formerly the #1 Game of Thrones podcast in the realm, now focused on House of the Dragon. We're excited, obviously. With HBO's, we're talking about an HBO show right now on this podcast. They're great. They do incredible work. Game of Thrones did not end on a spectacular note. I think everybody in the world acknowledges that at this point. So they have a lot at stake here with the first season of House of the Dragon. Comes at the end of August. Make sure you tune into Oysters, Clams, and Cockles when it does.
Well, it's time for the NPR-style sign-off. Freeze All Motor Functions has been brought to you by Bolin Media and is hosted by me, Jared Borislow, along with Ross Bolin and Serena. The show was produced by me, Jared Borislow, at the Bolin Media Studios in Austin, Texas. In Little Austin, inside of Austin, Texas. Special thanks to Phil from DC, a.k.a. Schnapple on SoundCloud for our intro music, and Brad Hess for our outro music. Until next time, FAMF, 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 FAMF.